We take the cut crown and grind the cut with a sintered diamond wheel. We then clean the crown and dry it for painting. The CEREC Tessera starter set includes all elements that we need for the work. Instruction manual, description of contents, 12 blocks of CEREC Tessera, glazing and glazing liquid, firing tray, firing pad, cut to size so that it fits on the firing tray. Pins to fix the objects if they cannot be fixed to the firing tray. Also as an alternative for front teeth, premolars or inlays for instance. Silicone paste to fix the restoration with the spray glazing. Additionally, tweezers with diamond tips to ensure a safe grip on the objects. And a brush with exchangeable tips. One in size 2, medium, and one in size 0, fine. Additionally, we need coloring paints, such as Body S1 for the cemento enamel junction and the fissures, Incisal I1 to increase the translucence in the chewing and edge areas, white for white spots, demineralization, and similar effects. Chestnut, for the unbelievably unpopular spots in the fissures. A mixing spatula and a glass plate. The coloring paints should be properly mixed before starting. It's very important to mix everything up really well to obtain a homogeneous, uniform, creamy consistency. Afterwards, we portion the coloring paints in the desired amounts on our glass plate. First, we take the body paint S1. Then we do the same for the other colors. Incisal I1, white, and chestnut. To dilute the coloring paints, we use some of the liquid. And then we can get started with the painting of the restoration. Before painting and glazing, we preheat the Speedfire oven to 400 degrees Celsius, which reduces the firing time to 4.5 minutes. For further processing, we take the crown and work the paste into the crown so that the lumen is evenly filled, but the edge is not covered. This gives us a good grip, and we can paint the crown well from all areas. To paint, we start with the body color. We apply this specifically at the cemento enamel junction on the dry crown, and thus achieve a color gradient towards the cervical. We then use just a little bit of body paint on the fissures to accentuate the fissure profile.
Das Fissurenrelief.
The next step is to take the incisal I1 and starting at the edges and moving over the buccal cusp slopes, we accentuate the occlusal surface slightly with translucence.
Mit Transluzenz zu betonen.
White is a good fit for the cusp slopes and the triangular protuberances.
Und auf die Dreieckswülste.
Many patients have spots or demineralization that are easy to dab to create a somewhat cloudy effect.
Das lässt sich sehr gut so auftupfen, etwas wolkig auszusehen. Und für die braunen Punkte
For the brown spots in the fissure,
wechseln wir die
we change the brush tip and apply a bit of chestnut in the fissures
etwas in die Fissuren, diese noch etwas
to lightly accentuate them.
leicht zu akzentuieren.
Any excess can be carefully removed with the brush
Vorsichtig mit dem Pinsel wieder entfernen, sodass
to make sure that the accentuation is very slight
minimale Akzente sind
and does not bother the patient.
nicht stört. Anschließend
We then take the spray.
wichtig ist das sehr
It's very important to shake it very well. And spray from 6 to 10 centimeters away in short bursts onto the surface to wet it evenly.
diese gleichmäßig benetzt ist. Man sieht
It's
gut,
easy to see when the solvent is dry that an even whitish layer forms.
dass sich eine gleichmäßig dünne weißliche Schicht bildet.
This makes it easier to check that we have applied glazing everywhere properly.
Gut gelandet sind.
These slightly damp, shiny spots are due to the dampness of the coloring paint.
Von der Feuchtigkeit aus der
This is
Malfarbe,
fine,
das ist okay.
because we can see that we've been everywhere else with glazing spray. We then take a firing tray with firing pad
Brennträger mit Brennvlies
or a pin
oder einen Pin
to fixate the crown.
zu fixieren.
Ideally, we position it on the firing tray with the pad.
Mit Vlies
For crowns that are loose or that could tip over,
oder
such as front tooth crowns,
wie zum Beispiel Frontzahnkronen,
we can also use the pins to fixate them.
diese zu fixieren
It's important that we take either a pin or the tray with the pad
oder den Träger mit dem
so that the
Vlies
crown is at the same height when heated in the oven and is precisely at the heat center.
genau erreicht. Wir nehmen die Restauration von der
We remove the restoration from the paste and place it carefully on the tray with the pad
Vlies. Oder wir hängen sie
or hang it on the pin so that it's properly attached.
gut fixiert ist. Anschließend bringen wir die Krone in
We then place the crown in the oven. To fire the crown, we select the suitable oven program and start it.
aus und starten.
Since we used the spray glazing, we select the program Glazing Spray. We place the restoration at the center of the oven. And start the program. The oven door opens approximately 1 minute before the end of the firing program. First slowly, then faster. When the program is completed, we remove the crown from the oven and leave it on the oven's metal plate to cool off. We let it cool off until we can touch it with our fingers. We can then prepare for the next step. Fire another crown or park the order for later.
Nach dem Brand
After the firing, we remove the crown from the oven
und können Sie
and can then assess it.
begutachten. Wenn wir die Kronen auf die Einbettmatte
If we used the investment pins,
ist es wichtig, dass
it's
wir den
important to
Farbenträger
first remove the honeycomb tray from the oven.
Auch da wählen wir wieder unser Programm aus,
We again select our program and position the crown either on the firing pin, as we can see here, or on the honeycomb tray.
Entscheidend ist dabei,
It's important for the restorations to be at the same height, because this way, they're optimally positioned in the oven's heat center. At the end of the firing program, we remove the crown from the oven and place it on the oven's metal plate to cool off until we can touch it with our fingers.
wir sie mit den Fingern anfassen können. Man sieht noch
We
einmal
can
deutlich
again
die beiden
clearly see the different versions of how to place the restorations in the oven.
funktionieren kann.
either on the honeycomb tray with firing pad for all restorations that stay perfectly in place like this and do not require any additional support. We attach anything that might be wobbly, whether crowns with small lumens or inlays, with dental casting investment pins. This way, the objects are at the same height in the oven. We click on Continue Later in order to do more firings later if necessary.